It was a Friday morning like any other when Noti, 61 years old, left his house to feed his chickens. The sun was just beginning to rise over the Indonesian countryside. His family expected him back within an hour, as he did every single morning for years. He never came back. What his family found just a few hours later will keep you awake tonight. His motorcycle was found abandoned at the edge of the forest. The engine was still warm. His helmet lay nearby, undamaged. No signs of struggle. No screams were heard by neighbors. No blood on the ground. As if he simply vanished into thin air. But Noti wasn't the first victim. And he definitely won't be the last. Something is hunting people in Indonesia. Something that devours its victims whole, leaving only haunting traces behind. And the numbers are exploding. What you're about to discover will completely change how you see the world around you. Let's go back a few months to trace this terrifying pattern. June 2024. A woman from the village of Kalimpang in South Sulawesi simply disappeared while walking to the market. The entire community mobilized to search for her. Children, elderly people, everyone dropped what they were doing. When they finally found her 3 days later, the discovery was indescribable. The local police had never seen anything like it. Just 3 weeks later, another woman. Same location. Same horrific fate. The villagers began to whisper about curses, about ancient spirits returning to claim victims. Then came August. An elderly woman, beloved by the entire community, vanished while collecting firewood. Then in April of this year, Wasiti, 55 years old, a mother of 4, went out to harvest vegetables from her garden behind her house. It was something she had done safely for over 20 years. Her son found only the abandoned basket, sitting in the middle of perfectly arranged vegetable rows. And now, July 2025, Noti. You might be thinking these are isolated accidents, random tragedies that happen in remote areas far from civilization. Perhaps the result of people venturing into dangerous territory they should have avoided. But the data tells a very different, much more disturbing story. A story that nobody wants you to know, because it reveals uncomfortable truths about our modern world. Between 1934 and 1974, spanning 40 entire years across our planet, only 6 fatal attacks were documented globally. 6 attacks in 4 decades. Think about that for a moment. During World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, through the entire Cold War era, only 6 people worldwide fell victim to these predators. But just in the last 2 years, we're talking about more cases than the entire previous documented history. We're witnessing an unprecedented escalation. Something has changed, and it's changed drastically. The question haunting experts is simple. What is making these ancient predators emerge from their hiding places and begin hunting humans systematically? Imagine for a moment, you're walking along a familiar trail, the same one you've taken hundreds of times before. Maybe it's the path to your job, or to visit a neighbor, or just an evening walk you enjoy. The birds are singing. Everything seems normal. Suddenly, something moves between the trees. Something enormous. Something that sees you not as a human being with a family, dreams, and hopes, but simply as food. These predators can reach over 23 feet in length. That's longer than a school bus filled with children. Picture a school bus in your mind, and imagine a creature even longer than that, made entirely of muscle and evolutionary perfection. They can weigh more than 165 pounds of pure muscle. But it's all concentrated power designed for one purpose: killing. And when they attack, there's no scream. No chance to escape. The constriction is silent, lethal. And afterward, they swallow their victims whole. Bones, clothing, everything. But here's what will really give you chills. Until 2017, we had never fully documented this behavior. The first completely confirmed case was Atbar Saubiro, a 25-year-old man who went out for the harvest and never returned. When they found his body, it changed everything we knew about these predators. Before I reveal exactly which creature is behind this epidemic of terror, I need you to do something. If this content is impacting you, if you want to fully understand what's happening, click the subscribe button now. Because what comes next will shock you even more. The creature we're talking about is the reticulated python, the longest snake on the planet. A killer that evolved over millions of years to be the perfect hunting machine. But why now? Why this explosion of attacks? To understand the magnitude of what's happening, we need to look at the past. David Penning, professor of biology at Missouri Southern State University, and one of the world's leading experts on large snake behavior, was categorical. In natural environments, attacks on humans are incredibly rare. It's probably rarer than snake injuries among people who keep large pythons as pets. Let that sink in for a moment. You were historically more likely to be injured by someone's pet python in a suburban home than by a wild python in its natural jungle habitat. Traditionally, these serpents actively avoided human contact. They hunted in the depths of tropical rainforests, miles away from any human settlement. Among the Agda people of the Philippines, indigenous communities who have lived for generations in python territory and know these creatures better than anyone else on Earth, only 26% of adult men reported surviving predation attempts throughout their entire lifetimes. That means even native peoples, who perfectly understand these animals' behavior, were rarely attacked. So what changed? The answer is literally all around us, woven into the fabric of our daily lives. In every product you use when you wake up in the morning, in every meal you eat, in every consumer choice you make throughout the day, without ever realizing the connection to these distant tragedies. The palm oil industry. It might seem completely impossible to connect your morning shampoo, your favorite chocolate bar, your frozen pizza, or even your lipstick to deadly attacks by giant pythons halfway around the world. The connection seems absurd, doesn't it? But the connection is not only real, it's devastatingly direct and getting worse every single day. In 2024 alone, Indonesia lost 645,000 acres of pristine rainforest, an increase of over 10,000 acres compared to the previous year. To put this in perspective that most Americans can understand, that represents an area larger than the entire state of Rhode Island being completely bulldozed, burned, and destroyed in just 12 months. Ancient trees that took hundreds of years to grow, gone forever to make room for endless rows of palm trees. Doug Boucher from the Union of Concerned Scientists explains the deadly mechanism. Deforestation dramatically increases the chances of people being attacked by reticulated pythons. Palm oil plantations create the perfect environment for small animals like rats and other rodents that feed on the palm fruit. Add Indonesia's massive population of approximately 279 million people, and this creates a perfect storm. As human settlements expand into former forest areas and natural habitats shrink dramatically, the chances of encounters with displaced and desperate predators increases exponentially. Here's the deadly cycle. Forests are cleared to plant palm trees. Rodents come to feed. Pythons follow the rodents. And where there are hungry pythons searching for territory, there are people. But there's more. When their natural habitat is destroyed, these ancestral predators face a simple choice: adapt or die. And they're adapting in ways our species has never seen before. They're learning that humans are viable prey. Before you think these creatures are bloodthirsty monsters lurking in the shadows, plotting against humanity, stop for a moment and consider something most people never think about. A reticulated python isn't evil. It's not a movie monster or a supernatural threat. It doesn't attack out of sadism, malice, or revenge against the human race. It does exactly what evolution programmed it to do over millions of years of natural selection: survive at any cost. We destroyed its habitat. We eliminated its food sources. We forced it to search for prey in our communities, our farms, our backyards. We created the perfect conditions for these deadly encounters through decades of unsustainable economic choices. The real epidemic isn't the pythons becoming more aggressive or developing a taste for human flesh. The real epidemic is us. Our unsustainable consumption patterns, our demand for cheap palm oil in everything from cookies to cosmetics, our collective disconnection from the environmental consequences of our daily choices. Every single time we choose products containing non-sustainable palm oil, we're essentially voting for more forests to be destroyed. We're casting a ballot for habitat destruction, species displacement, and the deadly human-wildlife conflicts that inevitably follow. The difference is stark and sobering. Pythons kill only when they need to survive. Many humans participate in this destruction well beyond necessity, driven by convenience, corporate profit margins, and a willful ignorance of the consequences. The epidemic of reticulated python attacks is just a symptom. The real problem lies in our daily choices, the products we buy, the economy we feed without thinking about the consequences. If this video impacted you, if you want to be part of the solution, subscribe to the channel now. And there's a special gift waiting for you, a video that could completely change your perspective on our planet. Click up there. Because understanding the problem is just the first step. The real question is, what are you going to do about it?